All right, very good. If I could have your attention there. And it's good to see you here tonight. What we typically do at each one of these wild game dinners is we give you an opportunity to tell a story of your hunting experience, maybe this past year, or maybe you have a story you want to tell from a previous year you haven't told before. So give you that opportunity to do that now. And it's always got to get the first one, to do that. Anybody interested in being number one here and telling that story? Somebody here is going to help us. Who's helping us? So Connor's going to help us, okay? And good. So if you have right here at Connor, you got one right here. Oh, no, never mind. He's waving somebody else, okay? Oh, in the back, you got a story. You got a hunting story. Whoa, wait a minute. We get you the microphone there. Is it on?
So there was this 6-point buck that I missed, and I missed it, and I don't know how because I was aiming at the heart. And I don't know how, but I just missed it. I accidentally shot under it.
All right.
Clean mess.
But at least it was a clean miss.
Okay, all right. See, you don't have to kill something to tell a story. You just have to have a story, that's all. All right. Who's next? Anybody know? All right, Connor, right over here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd just like to say that this was the first year ever that the Lord blessed me with a buck and a doe. Never got a buck and a doe. Now, when I shot the doe, it was so steep, it rolled down the hill after I shot it. And I about croaked pulling that thing out of there. I thought, I'm not doing that again. I'm going to get one of them little carts with wheels and strap it on that. But then somebody said, that's okay as long as the ground's hard, but if it's soft, he said the wheels are dragging to the ground, so I don't know. But I'm going to make better preparations for next year. But it was a blessing. I didn't fall out of my tree stand, and I got 2 deer, so that was great.
All right, very good. Next.
This is kind of a funny story. I'm 100% Polish, so don't hold that against me. But I was out in the woods last year bear hunting. I had my 30-06 with me and a 45 strapped to my hip in case I missed. But I ran across this black bear in the woods and I snuck up on him. And I kind of looked at him and he turned around and we both startled each other. And he said to me, "What are you doing out here?" And I said, I really need a coat. I'm cold. And he said, "Why don't you put that gun down and we can talk?" Because I'm out here. And he said, "I'm looking for food. I'm hungry." And he said, "I've been praying to God that I find some food." And I said, "Well, I've been praying to God that I get a bear so I can get a coat." And he said, "Well, put that gun down." So we sat there for a while, and lo and behold, I said, God is good. I was inside the bear's belly. The bear was full, and I got a coat.
All right. Anybody else? Oh, got another one back. Whoop, got 2.
I had the opportunity to take my grandson out deer hunting this year down in West Virginia, and we were hunting on a pipeline, and I said to him, I said, "There's a deer come out." He goes, I don't see it. I said, "Well, now there's 2 of them out there," and they were about 100 yards away. I said to him, "Do you see the deer now?" He goes, "Yeah, I see it." I said, "Put it on its front shoulder." He did not have anything to lean on. He was shooting freehand, and he shot, and I said to him, I said, tell me what you seen. He said, I seen one deer run back in the bushes. I said, that's what I seen. I think you might have smoked it. And as soon as he said that, he went started running up the pipeline. And I went after him and I grabbed him. I said, Joan, I said, grandpas don't run up pipelines. I said, they go out around and come down the other side. And lo and behold, he did. One shot, he dropped it, his first deer. And then I got a doe, and it took me 2 shots. So the joke in camp was that Grandpa can't shoot.
This isn't about me, but my grandpa. The one year he shot a doe, and when he was gutting her, he hit the stomach, and he has dentures. Well, he threw up, and he went inside, and he was talking to my grandma about it, and she's like, "Why do you sound so funny?" Here, his dentures were in his deer guts out in the field, and she's like, "You better throw them out. We're calling the dentist."
Aren't you glad we ate first? Very good. That's a good one. You got one, Lynn?
It's not a big-time kill story. How many of you have your guns are camouflaged? Nobody? I have a 223 that's synthetic and it's camouflaged, and we were turkey hunting. In the Hammersley is the most remote area in Pennsylvania. And it was late in the afternoon. I got hot. I stopped, laid my gun on the ground because I never lean on against a tree. And I hike with a hiking stick because I'm old. And when I got to the edge of the mountain to go down, I switched my hiking stick over, or I went to take my gun off, to take my coat off, and I didn't have a gun. So I walked back to where I knew this big cherry tree was, and there was a big buck scrape there. So I tagged it on my GPS, and then I started doing this. Well, I didn't find it. So I had to be out to meet my son at the woods, and it was another 3/4 of a mile down the mountain. So my friend Tim Boatner said, I'll find your gun for you. But he said, we can't go in the way you go in. We got to walk around and come up, which took us about 2 hours. And I walked to the tree, and I said, Tim, right here, I tagged this spot. It's got to be someplace here. I know this is where I switched. I said, it's got to be here. So I started walking, and I turned around, and he was holding my gun. It was behind me the whole time. But I got it back, and nobody used it overnight.
All right, very good. Oh, up here, Connor.
I'm not a hunter, but I'm a diver, and I got to collecting shells, and so I spent a lot of time in the saltwater and scuba. So I often took young people out, young service people out diving, showing them ropes, and so I took this one young man out in Okinawa, and so I thought I'd show him a sea snake. He never saw a sea snake before, so we're about 15 feet apart. He's a little lower than me, maybe 10 feet lower than me, and so I see a big sea snake near him. So I bang on my tank. He looks at me, and I go like that. I'm pointing to the snake, and he's looking at me. He goes, so I turn my head, and there's a big sea snake almost on my glass. I got a cramp in all 4 appendages. Never happened before, never happened since.
These stories are great. I hope you appreciate mine. Well, I'm not an avid hunter. I have been hunting periodically, but this story goes back a long time. When I was, I came across this fella from Iowa. He was an Iowa farmer, and he had arms on him like the Kelsey brothers in football. This guy was strong. And he worked with the Department of Agriculture. To make a long story short, I'd never been out hunting, and he said, come on, I'm going to take you hunting. A bunch of guys are getting together. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and so on and so forth. So I spent the whole week going out shopping for this gear that he told me that I would need. So got the 12 gauge, and I had a 303, but we were doing small game, so it was the 12 gauge, and I got the ammo and the ammo belts. And I'm telling you, like, I was so excited. Friday when I went over to his house, I figured, well, I'll just get dressed up to make sure that I have what I need. So I had an ammo belt this way and an ammo belt this way, and really, and then extra pockets here on the side with ammo in it. And I walked into his house. He said, where do you think you're going? I said, hunting. You told me to make sure I didn't forget anything. Key words, forget anything. So anyhow, we had a couple beers, and we spent the weekend driving out to this place to meet the other guys up in the mountains. And Saturday came, and it came time to go hunting, and I was just so excited. And they carpooled now at this point. So I hop in the vans and everything, and they're driving out to the place, and it comes time, okay, now let's decide who's going to go this way and who's going to go that way. And my friend from Iowa says, Joseph, where's your gun? I left it back at the hotel. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any others? Oh, got one back there, Connor.
Last year I was over near Muddy Run, back there at the game lands, and I figured I'd walk down this long hill, open grassland. I'll get down there and, okay, 2 does run past me. Okay, I'll wait here to see if a buck comes out. No buck. The other one gets down about 100, 200 yards away, and I hear it snort. It wasn't nice. 2 does snorted at me. I said, you're lucky. I'm not doe hunting. I was looking for the buck. I don't shoot the does unless that's the last one I shoot. I prefer to shoot a buck over a doe.
All right. Any others? Oh.
This is a fishing story. About 8 or 9 years ago, before my husband got sick, we went to New York on one of those Finger Lakes. I don't know which one. I had never been deep sea fishing. The biggest fish I'd ever caught was a little minnow on our family farm. And I was the only woman on the boat. And I caught the biggest fish that day, 39 inches. I mean, you know how long that is? And I almost lost it, lost the fish, and I almost lost myself. But we had a great time. It was a great experience for me. By the way, I have a picture to prove it. Okay.
Thank you. A live one.
Okay, well, Mrs. Smuck there just reminded me, and this is just something for folks who might not know a lot about fishing or boating. I went with my Uncle Frank. If you have a short temper, it's going to cost you. And Uncle Frank, he's in heaven, so I can say this. It's fine. Uncle Frank was a great fisherman. He did a lot of crappie fishing and smallmouth bass, stuff like that. He was in different crappie tournaments. And he took my dad and I down to the Octorary Lake. And we were out there. And I remember myself, I actually caught a big old catfish. And we lost it. Like, it went under the boat and all around and snapped my line. But Uncle Frank, like, his line or something got tangled up. He took that rod, snapped over his leg and threw it in the water. Now it's the end of that. And my Uncle Ray was across the way, and he was in a flat bottom boat. And he stood up in a flat bottom boat and flipped over. He lost everything. He had to swim to shore. Poor Uncle Ray. But it was, if you have a flat bottom boat, you don't stand up in it unless you positively have to. So just little funny things there.
All right. Any others? Oh, up here, Connor.
Where?
You got, wait a minute, did you get one back there? Somebody back there?
Justin.
All right, so I think it was this last summer. I had the opportunity to go deep sea fishing because my great uncle for his birthday wanted to do that really bad. So I went with him, and him and my family warned me, because I get motion sick, that I should really take some medicine because you don't want to get ocean sick because it's really miserable. And so we went out, and we were going 70 miles out, and on the way out I got motion sick and had a horrible time throwing up over the side of the boat. But eventually we got to the place where we wanted to be, where the tuna supposedly were, and we ended up getting one on the line, and my uncle started to reel it in, but he got tired, so he handed it over to me, and I ended up reeling it in, and it was a 70-pound tuna. So that was my biggest fish I caught there. So.
I have a fishing story.
Go ahead, Connor.
So a little while ago, I went down to the creek near Black Rock, and the water was cold. I didn't really think I'd catch anything, but I just wanted to see. And I took my black lab with me, and so I tied her to a log, and I started fishing, and I heard a splash, and I looked over, and she was in the water. So the only thing I ended up catching was when I reeled her in.
All right. Any others? Maybe one more, if there is any more. All right, Kenny, you got one? He's coming. He's coming back behind you there.
You all know I'm a turkey caller here in Pennsylvania. I do some turkey toys. This is a hen turkey. Now when a caller hears that, he'll go, "Woo! Woo!" And I got a lot of turkey up in the mountains by doing that. So this year, like all years, I go to Fair Hill. And I found out I can use a rifle. So I took my 243. Within 15 minutes time, I had 2 deer too. Fucking
All right, very good. Well, it's great to have Chad and Marcia with us tonight, and looking forward to the presentation that they're going to share. And I think you got an intro there. You're going to show us. Go ahead.
Chad Shear grew up in the mountains of Montana. He's been a licensed outfitter and guide for the past 32 years. Chad has a passion for calling an elk and has won every major elk calling competition in the United States. He's a world champion and a 2-time Eastern U.S. champion. Chad has hunted and fished extensively around the world, including 5 continents, 11 countries, and nearly 50 states. Besides hunting, Chad is an advocate for wildlife conservation. He's a chairman of the board for the Mule Deer Foundation and is a lifetime member of the NRA. Chad and his family host the award-winning TV show Shoot Straight. More importantly than any of these accomplishments, Chad is a husband to Marcia and a dad to Walker and Wyatt. Marcia grew up in the hills of Tennessee. She jokes she was hunting for a husband and now hunts with her husband. Marcia is known for her incredible hospitality, operating many hunting camps for Chad, as well as her talent in the kitchen, hosting recipes from the field on Shoot Straight. Marcia has joined Chad on nearly all of his adventures, at home and abroad. Marcia was the first lady to be put on the CVA Pro staff, and currently is the logistic coordinator and co-manager of the Bergara Academy. Marcia has also been a licensed Montana guide for over 20 years, and truly has a passion for getting women involved in the outdoors, and has taken much pride encouraging them to spend time hunting and fishing together as a family. Now, please welcome Chad Shearer of Shoot Straight TV.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Is that on? Hold on. All right, well, those are some great stories, and sometimes people just need a bare coat, I guess. It's one of those things. But, man, it's great to be here. Our first time in Quarryville, and we're excited about it. We want to thank our sponsors for making it happen with our TV show. We're going on 18 years on Shoot Straight. We've been doing TV for 23 years. And I just need to see what we have for a crowd tonight. Just lets me know what direction to go. How many bow hunters do I have in here? All right. How many muzzleloader hunters? Rifle hunters? Turkey hunters? Deer hunters? Road hunters? Oh, just see what we have for a crowd. You know, our sponsors are pretty great. They give us some things that we can throw out while we're on the road. These are the only ones I have, so if they don't fit you, I apologize. There's always Facebook Marketplace, eBay. This is a Bergara t-shirt size small. That guy looks like he could wear a small t-shirt. All right, here is extra large and True Timber. All right, we'll get that back there. There's True Timber. I love it. We're in a Baptist church, so the front rows are wide open. Pastor sit up. I mean, we go to ball games and stuff, and those are the high dollar seats. But so I'll see if we can reach some of those people in the back. But well, there's True Timber. There's the Bergara one. Let's see here. Who hunts with a muzzleloader again? I got some power belt bullets. Let me grab some more stuff here while I'm taking a walk back there. Where's my muzzleloader? The guy in the black t-shirt, the Ford t-shirt. Got a 50 cal?
50 and 54.
Well, these will work in your 50. All right, how many like to cook on a pellet grill or barbecue? Who likes making ribs in here? You like ribs? All right. There's some sweet heat there. How about Pit Boss rub? Oh, yeah, there we go. Garlic, salt, and pepper. This is Marcia's favorite right there. Anybody need a new sling for their rifle? You could use a sling. Okay, there we go. Do I have any young people? It's going to be their first year hunting this year. Or second. That gal right there. This might help her see the deer better and get her shot. All right, come on up. Okay. I'm not going to throw it. Come on up here. I'm not going to throw these all the way back. We don't want binoculars to land on the ground. But I tell you, we're going to have fun tonight. You listen fast. I'll talk fast. We'll give away all this good stuff up here. There's a lot of great prizes. So you say, where can you watch Shoot Straight? You watch us on the Pursuit channel, Dish Direct. Watch us on Zumo, Hulu, Amazon Fire, all the different networks. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram and send us a message you were here tonight, and we'll keep in touch that way. You know, I've noticed we have some heroes in here tonight, so we want to honor those folks that are current military, past military, our veterans. If you'd please stand, and their families, we want to honor you for being here. Let's give these folks a big round of applause. Thank you, folks, for being here tonight. We truly appreciate it. Thank you all. We appreciate you being here tonight. Now, calling animals is one of my favorite things to do. I use these mouth calls. You can do a variety of calls, just like he was using his voice. I use one of these so he can be hands-free. What can we do? We can do a cow elk. We can do a bull elk. How many have ever hunted elk in here? Okay, how many want to hunt elk in here? There you go. There's nothing better than having that 600-pound bull elk looking at you and going, your heart will be doing this stuff right here. All right, what else? We need a turkey call. We can do a squirrel. Do coyotes. You can call your wife in with this call. That's a very versatile call right there. Do a loon. And do a siren with it. So we had some volunteer fire department guys there. Don't have siren working in your vehicle trying to get to the station? Just open your window and thank you. And if you ever get your little dog's tail caught in the door, we've got that sound too. Little Fluffy goes out the door, the screen door catches him in the tail, and little Fluffy sounds like this. So we can have fun calling. I love calling the animals in, and there's nothing better than that. But turkey season's right around the corner, so let's talk about that. We're going to talk about a variety of different species and animals tonight. How do you make the turkey sounds? Well, when I use those mouth calls, I'm saying chook, 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 or chick, chick, chick. And I will tell you, these calls, kids, I sell them at these events for $5 because I like the next generation to get outdoors more and learn to call. And it comes with the certificate. You get to call in the car all the way home tonight. For $5. And why does it get kids outside? Because when they get home, their mom's like, go outside and make those sounds. So it's very, very versatile. But to make turkey sounds, it's chook, 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 or chick, chick, chick. If I'm using a slate call, I'm going to call lighter. I'm going to take my slate, and I'm going to call like this. Start out soft. To purr, I choke up on it. Now, one of the sounds I don't want to do a lot is this right here. What's that? They are gone. That's danger, that's trouble. I'm going to show you a video in a couple of minutes here, and I'll show you what happens. You hear that sound and what they do. So start out soft. I've called a lot of birds in right there. Now, sometimes it's windy or they're further away, I'll pick it up. But I always start out real soft with them. When I'm using my locator calls, I love owl calls, I love crow calls. If I take a crow call and I just blow it and it's up, that's okay. Use your voice. Roll that tongue. Sound more natural when you do that, and you'll have more success. So I love hunting turkeys a lot. I've hunted turkeys in 18 states. I've hunted them in Hawaii. I've hunted them in New Zealand. That's when you know you have a problem. You like to hunt them everywhere. But they're really, really good to eat, and I love eating wild turkeys. They're fantastic. So we're going to head to North Carolina. I've shortened this footage down because this bird pitched off the roost, went and followed some hens. I yelped light. He came back, but I'm not going to show you 10 minutes of him strutting back and forth before he started coming at me. So here we are in North Carolina. He came from those far trees, strutted the whole way. Listen how much I'm calling. I'm calling a lot, aren't I? No, if a bird's coming, let him keep moving towards you. Quit calling. Now I'm using a 410 shotgun. You say, why? You're not man enough to shoot a 12 gauge? No, that's one of the fun things to do is try and shoot turkeys in several states with a 410. That a lot of states you shoot, like 35 different states now it's legal. This bird's coming in. He's on full strut. It's frosty that morning. Here you are at the edge of the blind. Now what's going to happen? He's going to get close. He's in range right now, but there's frost on my decoy. Now I'm set up. I'm thinking, oh, he'll flog this decoy, but listen. Yeah. He clucked. He was leaving.
Got him. That was awesome. He was getting nervous. We had this bar. I had 3 minutes of battery left on the camera. Big old strutter came all the way in with my good buddy Buddy Smith and his grandson Jack Bowman. We just smoked a North Carolina bird. Look at that steam coming out of my mouth. It is a cold morning, 33 degrees.
That's awesome. So I will tell you, when you're hunting and it's cold like that, watch that frost on the decoys. Those birds don't like it, but I didn't realize he'd frosted up so much, and it was pretty crazy. So now we've got Marcia here, my favorite hunting partner. I'm going to see if she'll come up and join me. She's hunted all over the world with me, from hunting moose in Montana to crocs to alligators, all kinds of crazy stuff. And welcome to Quarryville.
Yes. We're excited to be here.
How are
that
you
was
tonight?
A fun turkey hunt.
Yeah.
He
3 minutes of battery
He
left.
said he had 3 minutes of battery. He really had 5 minutes of battery, but I was cold too. So I was trying to speed it up a little bit. But how many of you ever hunt with somebody? You hunt with a hunting partner, friend, family, somebody, your enemy? I don't know who you hunt with, but have you ever recorded? Or maybe you've set up the camera to record on yourself? You hit record, and after we got done, he said, "Did you get all that?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. You hit record? Oh, yeah. Did I hit record?" I'm like, it happened so fast. So he jumped out of the blind to go look at the turkey. I'm like rewinding the camera. Whew, I got it.
He did a great job on that.
That was a little nerve-wracking.
Fantastic. Now,
Yes.
you like to hunt.
Yes.
You like to go over, but you just got into Pennsylvania because something special. People have been asking about this.
Yes,
and,
I'm a grandma.
It's grandma.
Yes.
Little Marcia's a little tired. She's had about 6 hours of sleep in 3 days. It's been
Yes,
pretty crazy,
but all worth it.
got to go back and see him, and I got here, and it's been crazy. So,
Yes, little Bennett decided to arrive 5 weeks early. So he is in the NICU, and he's got a few challenges ahead of him, but we're very blessed that he's here, and we're excited to be here, and we're anticipating to be home too. So that'll be
we
fun.
get to go back and see him tomorrow.
Yes.
So anyway, now hunting in Africa, we're talking about a variety of different things tonight. There was an animal you wanted to hunt for years, and what was that?
It was an Inyala. Anybody ever seen an Inyala? You've looked at them? So we had been to Africa a few times before. I had been blessed to see the Inyala in the wild, but you normally don't see
I
them.
don't think they have those in Lancaster
They probably
County.
don't have them in Lancaster County, no. But you don't normally see them that often. They just come out very early in the morning, kind of like your big whitetails around here probably, very early in the morning in that last little bit of light. They stay very brushed up in the back of the thicket in Africa. So they're very difficult to spot. A lot of times probably they were there and I didn't see them, to be honest with you. So this past May, we were on our trip, and that was on my bucket list. So we were hunting that day, and the PH had asked me, what are some of your things? I was like, listen, anything I have an opportunity at, I'll be happy with, but an Inyala is on my bucket list. So we came around the corner, and he says, Inyala, Inyala, Inyala. And so I put my arm out to keep Chad, to remind him that it was on my bucket list, stop. It was my turn. So the PH, is a professional hunter in Africa. So here we may have a guide. In the States, we call him like a guide. In Africa, they call him a PH. It's a professional hunter. So he and I went out, and we were in pursuit of the Inyala.
Inyala, here it is. It's May. There's still a lot of brush out. Typically, their seasons are opposite of ours. So by May, the leaves have all fallen off the trees. Well, they didn't there, and so here we are.
It was still brushed up. He is pointing and showing me where the Inyala is. I'll be honest, I have not seen it. I have no idea. I'm just following him and hoping that I can see it so I can get a shot on it. It's very, very thick. He sets the shooting sticks up and gets a better look. If you look in the middle of the screen, you can barely see a little bit of white, and you can see his horns. We're gonna put a red circle right there.
Ready?
Perfect job.
He just went about 20 yards, but you can see how thick it is in that thickness. And there's my Inyala. So I was very happy, and it was so thick, I felt really good with my shot, but it was very difficult. He had those crosshairs, and I just could barely squeeze it through that brush. So you automatically reload and be ready. I was just hoping that we were gonna find him, and he only went about 20 yards. So.
You did great with that. Now, I've already had this a couple times tonight. People ask, what do you guys do with that meat?
Well, we eat it. We eat all of it. Whether we're in Montana or traveling in another state or even in Africa. We eat it, we enjoy it. In Africa, though, it's the USDA, it's not legal with regulations. You cannot bring your meat back with you to the States. So while we're in Africa, many times each night we would get something that we harvested that day and be able to maybe try it. They would cook it at the lodge there. But the meat in Africa, we take care of the meat in the field just like we were hunting at home. so that it's cooled off. We get it to the skinning shed. Nothing goes to waste. And the local villages there and the people that are like on staff or help at the lodge, we give that meat to them and to their families. And so the meat that we had from this trip probably lasted them several months. So nothing goes to waste, and we're very blessed to be able to get to share that with other people.
Absolutely. Now, yes, that was great. So you went from hunting thick country in Africa, then in September you had knee surgery right before hunting season.
Right before hunting
season. So this
season.
footage is pretty special because you're back hunting uneven ground, first hunt you're able to do
First
with your
hunt out, and
new
it's in
partial knee.
Montana, big sky country. We don't have the brush in the trees, so you're going to see a lot of wide open country.
So it's open, and what happens in open country? Your shots are a little further too. So you're using the CVA LRH long range hunter rifle, and let's check this out. The rut is going on.
Yes.
Bucks are in there chasing does, and with these mule deer, there'll be several bucks sometimes in with several does, but then those bucks will separate, and you have to be ready.
You have to be ready. Optics are very important when you're hunting Montana for the big open country because you're looking a lot further away. At this point, they were probably 400 or 500 yards away. We wanted to try to close the distance a little bit. This, with the snow on the ground, is probably the hardest time to be stalking because it's so noisy. The wind was in our favor. We had to make sure that that was right. There were several bucks in this group, so I want to make sure that I was on the right one, that my cameraman was on.
Okay, he's sniffing that doe.
They kept moving around. So I've got a really good rest.
Okay, he's moving left to right, Marcia.
But then all of a sudden, the main doe took everybody away but this one buck.
350 yards.
There you go. Dropped him.
There you go.
Good shot.
Shoot like a girl.
Good shot. You dropped him.
I almost waited too long.
Smoked him good.
So it was pretty emotional for me because it was the first time, like Chad said, I was out, had been pretty much out of the house for physical therapy, but getting out on that ground and hiking and walking and being on uneven, I was very, very happy to get that done.
You did a great job, honey. 350 yards, that's a great shot.
You know, it's great to see some of the youth here tonight, and this is our next generation for hunting. So whether you be a parent or a grandparent, maybe you're just someone who hunts and you're mentoring someone else or somebody new, whether they're young or old in the outdoors, just be sure to pass on those good things as a good sportsman, taking care of the meat, knowing your laws, being legal, safety. Don't ever take anything for granted. Just repeat. Something we always did with our boys that have been hunting since they were 2 and 3 with us. And now we've got a little guy, so we're going to be excited to hunt with him.
Absolutely. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. Now, I know you folks up here in Pennsylvania like to hunt whitetails, and there's nothing better than big whitetails and going after them. One thing I always tell people, if you're hunting whitetails, be patient. Take the time, be patient out there, and be willing to stay in the stand as long as possible. How many have ever got out of their stand and spooked a deer going back to their truck? Hell yeah. About 9 in the morning, 9:30, you're smelling that biscuits and gravy cooking, and you're like, ooh, the longer you stay in the stand, the more success you have, and always stay alert. The other thing I always tell people is expect the unexpected. How many have ever had a deer show up that you had never seen before? Didn't show up on a trail cam, nothing else. When hunting season starts, the rut starts, the rules change, things happen. I'm going to show you some video now. This is whitetail hunting in Montana. My son, Walker, who he likes to hunt mule deer, and he's like, Dad, I'm not going to go after whitetail unless it's really good. Well, we're out there, we're looking for mule deer, we're just looking for some management deer. And I pull my binos up, and I'm like, look at that muley. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a whitetail. When you start confusing whitetails and mule deer, you know that's a good whitetail. So Walker, he's a great shot, and he's got a 300 Win Mag with him, and I will tell you this. I'm going to show you the footage. This is just how it happened. Walker left. I asked him to leave the footage after he shot of how excited he was. This kid's hunted all over, but if you're not excited like this, you don't need to keep hunting. Let's just watch it.
It's a cold, clear day here in Montana. We've been out deer hunting this morning looking for a management mule deer, and we just came around the corner and saw a massive whitetail. He went down in this bottom. We're gonna try to slip on top on this edge, see if he pops out. I think there's some does with him, and we'll see what happens.
So it's pre-rut. It's October 31st in our country. And this buck showed up. I'd seen him 2 years ago, and then he disappeared for 18 months. And all of a sudden, he started checking does early. Look at the size of this whitetail. This is not a muley, this is a whitetail. Walker gets his shooting sticks ready. He's waiting for a shot. There were 3 does in that brush, and this buck came in to check them out. Quartering away. Perfect shot.
No, I did not just shoot that deer. Is he dead? Yeah. Can I shoot him again? No. You sure he's dead?
Walker, he's dead.
Are you positive?
100%.
I really want to shoot him again.
No, he's dead.
I did not just shoot that whitetail.
Yes, you did. The deer didn't need to be shot again, but he didn't want him to get away. There's Bree, his wife, and look at that buck.
It's just a dream come true.
I'm telling you what, that's a spectacular 170-inch whitetail. Just a gorgeous deer, 12 points on him. Expect unexpected. We didn't even have a clue that deer, we knew he was hanging within about a 3-mile radius. I didn't think he was there. I thought he was gone. He got hit by a car, and all of a sudden he showed up. So expect the unexpected while you're out there. What's new from CBA? I've been working with CBA for 26 years and get to spend a lot of time with them on their design. The new Crossfire muzzleloader, this is a great new muzzleloader. Makes it super easy to load and unload. Then they have the Long Range Hunter like Marcia used on that big muley. And then for you folks that like the Scout rifles, there's the new SR80 this year. Trail cams, I love trail cams. You can learn a lot about what's out in those woods without spooking those deer. They're great to have out there and use those as a tool to have more success in the field. Now, we talked about elk hunting earlier and calling. I thought I'd throw a little bit in for you folks that elk hunt and want to elk hunt. Always watch the wind. If the wind's wrong, back out. You're not going to fool their nose. Same thing with big whitetails. You think, oh, I'll spray all this scent stuff on me. I'll wear this special clothes. The wind's wrong. Guess what? They're going to smell you. They smell your breath, too. Some of you got some bad breath out there. Them deer are spooking deer all the time. No. Be aware of the wind. That's a great thing about turkey hunting. You don't have to worry about the wind with the turkeys. Somebody's trying to sell you turkey scent. Know that somebody's trying to sell you something right there. All right, don't be afraid to move and get set up right. Make some noise. When I'm calling in elk, I'll roll a rock. I'll pull some grass. Why? Because it's normal for elk to be noisy. And you're out there being so super secret quiet that they're like, why is it so quiet? And anticipate where you think the bull will come in and set up for that broadside shot. Now, I'm going to show you archery hunt in Montana. We had some forest fires. Some of our bulls and cows moved out of the trees and out on the flats because there's fires that went through that summer. I will tell you, hunting elk in open country is tough. I'm going to show you some footage of the craziest setup I've ever done. We were on elk in the morning, couldn't get in on them. We knew where a water hole was. We're like, let's set up there. They'll come down to drink. Maybe we can make something happen. Let's just see what happens.
Late afternoon here in Montana. We're on elk this morning. Couldn't get a shot. They went out, bedded. We're gonna come in below. There's a pond. We're hoping they're gonna hit it to water. So we're setting up. I can hear them bugling right above us.
So we slip up. We're heading up to this pond. I'm like, all right, there's gonna be sagebrush. There'll be something we can hide behind. Nothing. All there is this one little dip. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna hunt these things like a coyote. We're gonna set up. That elk comes in to drink. I'll wait till he goes to drink. I'll draw my bow, stand up, we'll get a shot. That's the only thing I can do. I think I got 30 to 45 minutes before these elk will move. We get there, and all of a sudden I got a 6-point bull coming at me. He's at 50 yards. Now watch what he does. He's walking, and then he hesitates, he stops. I'm like, oh, I'm busted. But then he starts coming, he's going right towards the water. Now we gotta stop for a commercial. Now, I wanna explain some things. Timing is everything. I watched that bull, and he's coming out, and he jumps. I'm like, we're busted. But then he kept coming, I'm like, why did he jump? If he didn't see us, I'm like, wait a minute, there must be another bull. And about that time, I'm watching him and I see another rack right here in my lap. And I got a bigger bull coming this way. This bull jumped looking at him. This bull's focusing on him, and I'm right here. Whoo, let's see what happens now. I knew they were focused on each other. I had to draw my bow and sit up, and that's what I was doing right before we paused. There he is. He stops. Coming. Now watch the left side of the screen. I draw because look what's coming out. Big bull. I shot. You wonder how lethal archery equipment is? That bull dropped right there.
He just went down.
Now watch the camera get shaky. Walker's giving me a hug. Big old Montana bull. What was happening, those elk got pushed out in the flat, and this bull, they were coming down to drink, they were chasing cows. You say, did you Photoshop that? Nope, Montana's really that pretty, and that's where that bull landed, just like that. But we're set up on that water. Does that happen all the time? No. But sometimes you got to go for it. Sometimes you got to push it a little bit. We had the wind right, and that was the result of that hunt. If you're heading out west, prepare, make sure you have your gear ready. We work with Kenetrek boots, and they make some of the best hunting boots out there. And I always tell people, if you want good boots, they also throw gaiters in. If you put promo code CHAD in there, they'll put in $75 gaiters, which are great, especially when you're hunting in the snow out west. The other thing we do is we have the Bergara Academy Long Range Shooting School up at our place in Montana, and we teach you how to shoot 1,500 yards. You say, well, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm not planning on shooting 1,500. Well, we work on long range because when you start shooting that far, those 200 and 300 yard shots, boom, you got them. It's not a problem, and it really, really makes a difference. Now, how many have hunted other places in here? Some of you have went other places out of state. I tell you, it's great. And you want to, if you want information, I always give people cards. I'll recommend you to different places to hunt. One of the places that we always love to hunt turkeys in is Hawaii. I'll tell you, your wife will love going with you to Hawaii when you turkey hunt. Or if you're like my wife, she'll turkey hunt with you. So going to Hawaii, over the years we made a lot of friends. That's Pat Fisher right there, and that's a big axis steer. Pat would also come to Montana and guide Montana under our outfit license, and super good dude. He'd always bring the Hawaii chocolates, just a good friend. And Pat and I hunted together a lot, and we spent a lot of time watching sunrises with those axis deer chasing. But I tell you, when you hunt a lot, you become friends with people that you're hunting with. And I know a lot of you folks do in there, and you got great memories. But then every once in a while, you get a phone call that you weren't expecting. And last February 14th, Valentine's Day, I got a call that my buddy Pat Fisher, who is 54 years old, guided a guy on the 13th of February. They got a nice axis deer. He went and had it at his place. The guy was leaving the next day, and Pat said, hey, I'll get him all ready. I'll cut him up. I'll have him ready because axis deer is delicious. If you're flying from Hawaii and bringing your deer meat back, you know how good it is. It's just, there's nothing like it. So Pat's getting all this ready. He's walking from his garage into the house. Nobody's around. He has a massive heart attack. 54 years old. His son was actually in the house with his wife, but they figured, oh, Dad's just out there doing deer. He goes out to check on his dad, and his dad had already passed in their yard. You see, when we go on these hunts, we plan and prepare for these hunts all year. When we're doing a hunt over in Africa, we plan, we get our guns ready, our paperwork, and we plan for something that only lasts a season, a short amount of time. I got a guy right now, I know he's going on an elk hunt this year in Montana, 6-day hunt. He is already shooting his bow, getting in shape, all ready for something that's going to last for 6 days. But I thought about this. I thought about my buddy Pat. You see, eternity lasts forever. And I've guided a lot of hunters and a lot of fishermen, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to share one more thing with you that's more important than how to shoot a 170-inch whitetail or 350-inch bull. It's how to know for sure you're going to heaven. And you see, when I travel and hunt all over, I use a GPS, but I also use God's GPS. That's the Bible, and it will show you how to get from point A here on this earth to heaven someday. And there's just a few steps that I want to share with you tonight, because I wouldn't be much of a man if I showed you how you can call elk or turkeys and that, but I didn't show you about the best thing that I know, and that's knowing how to go to heaven. You say, well, Chad, how can you know that? Well, first off, we have to realize we're a sinner. For most of us, it's not hard to realize we're a sinner. But the Bible talks about it. In fact, in Romans 3:10, it says, as it is written, so it's written here in the Bible, there are none righteous, no, not one. None of us are righteous. Right there it says it. It doesn't say a couple of us or a few of us. No, it says none. Then it goes on in Romans 3:23. For all, that's everybody, not somebody, a couple of us, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. What does it mean to come short? You get a brand new bow. You take that bow out. You put the sight on. You're going, oh, I'm going to sight it in. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. You aim, whoop, you hit the dirt. Usually for me, there's one rock in the yard and my $15 arrow goes poof, just like that. So, though you're trying to do it on your own, you come short. You see, I would hate for any of you in this room to come short, to not make it to heaven. You see, it goes on in Romans 6 to say this, for the wages of sin is death. Okay, so let's break that down. Wages. What are wages? Wages are what you deserve. You work all week, you get paid wages. So what do we deserve for our sin? Well, the wages of sin is death. Death and hell. But the gift of God, the gift is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. It's a gift. You just have to receive it. Just like that stuff I was passing out. All you had to do is receive it. You didn't have to buy it from me. You didn't have to go do these great things for me. No, you just had to receive it. A gift is something that's given, but something that's received. Salvation is there. You just have to receive it. Some people say, well, Chad, that seems a little easy. Well, Ephesians 2:8-9, the Bible says this. For by grace, what's grace? Grace is something you don't deserve. My dad, when I was growing up, showed grace to me once in a while. I know it's hard to believe. I wasn't a perfect kid. And there were times, how many parents showed you grace once? God shows you grace. For by grace, his grace, are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, not of what you do. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm doing this. Lest any man should boast. You say, well, who can receive it? Well, Romans 10:13. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Put your name right there. You're the whosoever. Chad, Marcia, Bill, Joe, Sue. For whosoever shall call. Say, well, what do I do? Well, according to the Bible, you pray and ask him to come into your heart. It says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. So I ask you tonight, do you know? Let me put it in sportsman's terms. Game warden comes up to you deer season, you got that deer laying there, and he says, can I see your license? Well, I think I have one. I've been a good hunter all my life. I spend opening day in the woods every year. My parents were good hunters. Now, is there a time and a place when you've accepted the Lord? Tonight, why don't you make it your time and a place? You say, well, I've heard this before, and I got lots of time. Do you? We don't know that. I spoke the other night, and it was a pretty crazy deal. I got a text the next day. This young man, teenager, 13 years old, maybe 12 or 13, playing baseball, was hit in the head by a baseball. They had to life flight him out of there. Thankfully, tonight he's doing good. He wasn't expecting that. You don't know. So tonight, I'd love to guide you through how you can accept him. I'm going to ask you to bow your heads, close your eyes, no one looking around. I won't embarrass you, but tonight you say, Chad, I would like to receive that gift. Well, why don't you do some business with God right there where you're sitting there? Pray and accept him to come into your heart. You say, well, what should I say? I haven't prayed a lot. What do I say? Well, just while you're sitting there quietly, say something like this. Pray and go, Dear Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I believe you died on the cross. I believe you rose on the third day. Forgive me of my sins. And please come into my heart. Thank you, Jesus, for coming into my heart. With heads bowed, eyes closed, no one looking around, I would like to pray for you. Tonight you say, Chad, I receive that gift. Just lift up your hand. I'll pray for you. Yes, sir, I see your hand. Yes, I see that hand. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, I see your hand. Yes, young person. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, young lady, I see your hand. Yes, sir, I see that hand. Yes, I see that hand. Sure, I'll do it one more time. You deer hunters know what it's like to have a second chance. That buck walks out, leaves, disappears. All of a sudden he comes back in there. You just got a second chance. Tonight I want you to have a second chance. But I don't want this to be your last chance. You don't know what's going to happen this week. Don't go through life not knowing. Accept him now. Receive him. Pray and say, Dear Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I believe you died on the cross. I believe you rose on the third day. Forgive me of my sins, and please come into my heart. Thank you, Jesus, for coming into my heart. Anybody else before we close say, Chad, I just did it. Yes, sir, I see your hand. Anybody else say, Chad, pray for me. I just did that. I got a second chance. Yes, sir. All over tonight. Lord, thank you for those that accepted you. Lord, that's the greatest gift they can ever receive. And Lord, how awesome is it that tonight when they get home, they can put their head on a pillow and experience a peace they've never felt before. Lord, thank you for this church here on the hill that cares about this community. And I pray that you just be with the rest of the service. In your name I pray. Amen. You know, there's a number of you that accepted Christ tonight. I just want to tell you, that's the greatest gift you'll ever receive. I want to encourage you to do something. We've got a table out here, and on that table, we have some pamphlets I wrote. It's a story about being charged by a grizzly bear, but it has all the verses that I talked about tonight and read. It also has some other information. It has our email on it. I encourage you tonight, swing by the table, pick one of these up. They're free. And take and write today's date on it, March 17th. As a reminder, I just tell you, I had a friend recently, his wife passed away. And he was going through her things after she passed away suddenly, and in her top dresser drawer was one of these pamphlets, and it had the date that she came to one of these events and accepted Christ. And I will tell you the peace it gave him, because just like my buddy here, I didn't have to tell him goodbye. I just had to say, see you later. And in fact, in Hawaii, they have a term or a phrase they use called a hui ho, which means until we meet again. You know, some of you folks tonight, I may never see again, but I can say a hui ho until we meet again in heaven someday. You know, it's the greatest thing. You say, well, Chad, I don't go to church, or I don't have a church. You're here tonight, and these people care about people. Look at that great food they had tonight. It's fantastic. You see, plug yourself into a church, and if you got questions, I say, with my GPS, sometimes I have problems. I got to figure out, how do I leave breadcrumbs where I'm at, or how do I mark this scrape? What do? I call customer service. The church is great customer service. If you've got something going on in your life or you need some help, check this church out. They care about it. They care about this community. And Christians, maybe you want one of these. You can share it with some of your friends. Share that gospel, because so often as sportsmen, we get a great fishing hole or something. We don't want to tell anybody. But this is something we should tell everybody about. And I encourage you to do that. Tonight, after the event, we'll be on the in the lobby at the table. We've got buck knives. I've been working with them for 27, 28 years designing. And Chuck Buck used to speak at a lot of these. And since he's passed away, I like carrying that tradition on for him. And we'll autograph them tonight. We've got an engraver. We'll put your name on it and be happy to do that in the lobby. We also have the calls and would like to get to know you. So now this is what I'd like to do. The pastor or people, they've got some cards they're going to pass out. And on that card tonight, if you accepted Christ, there's a box that says, tonight I accepted Christ as my Savior. Check that box so we can have a record of what you do and we can pray for you. They're going to use those cards for all these prizes tonight. There's a CVA muzzleloader. There's, he said, over $1,200 in prizes they're given. That's so cool. Somebody's going to get some great, great prizes tonight. It says, I'd like more information on next year's event, like more information on the church. Any of those that pertain to you, check those and put your information on it. They're going to pass them out quick. There's pins by where you're sitting, or they have extra pins. Fill them out quick, because guess what? The quicker you fill them out, the quicker we start drawing these prizes. So thank you all for having me. I've enjoyed being here tonight. Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate it, and we enjoyed it.
All right. How about this? Let's do it this way. If you're a young person and you're 5 to 11 years old, just come right up here for a second. Just for a second. You go back and sit down afterwards, but just come right up here real quick. Come right up here, right in front of me. 5 to 11. We'll give you a card. All right. 5 to 11. Very good. Very good. Good, good, good. Did you get one, Abigail? All right. There you go. Andrew. Very good. Did we get all the 5 to 11s? All right, what's the next one? 12 to 17, 12 to 17, 12 to 17, 12 to 17, 12 to 17. Okay, all of you ladies that are here that are 18 and older, would you raise your hand there? And Ethan will get one to you. 18 and older, 18 and older. Very good. Everybody else who has not gotten one, we're going to give you one of these blue ones. So you guys, you want to help, you can split them, help them there. How many of you need an ink pen? How many of you need an ink pen? You don't have an ink pen? Okay. Let's see. Brother Larry, could you help me? There's some pens under the Welcome Center there. Some pens under the Welcome Center. We'll try to get this accomplished as quickly as possible. Pink one. All right, we'll do this as quickly as we possibly. Who needs an ink pen? If you need an ink pen, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you need an ink pen, and we'll get one to you here. You can look as well in the pew pocket where the hymnals are. There's some of the pews have an ink pen in them. There we go. Pink card, Ethan, right here. All right, very good. Brother Joe Carr, could you get a couple big bowls back there? Yep. Anybody still need a card? You didn't get a card? Okay. Still need a card? A couple over here. Anybody need a pen? Anybody need a pen? All right. Card or pen? Anyone know? If you trusted Christ as Savior, please indicate that on there. And any of the other check boxes that you'd like to check off there, let me encourage you to do that. Which one you need? Oh, there you go. Yep. Mm-hmm. Here you go. All right, very good. Let me have that. Let me have that first group there, 5 to 11-year-olds. 5 to 11-year-olds. You guys want to come back up and put your card in this bowl right here. 5 to 11-year-olds. Put them right on in there. Thank you, thank you. All right. Any other 5 to 11-year-olds? Did I miss anybody? All right, we'll get the older folks here